The following special presentation of In.form on WBDC and WJTS is paid for by Friends of Jesus Monarrez. Jesus Monarrez, Treasurer.
Keeping you informed. This is In.form on WBDC and 18 WJTS.
Hello and welcome to a very special edition of In.form. I'm Ty Hunter. I'm joined in the studio here with Jesus Monarrez from the Dubois County Sheriff's Department. First of all, Jesus, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Ty.
A very good reason why we're having you, and we're just going to let the cat out of the bag right off the bat. You have a very special announcement.
I do. I wanted you to be the first one to know that I am declaring my candidacy for Dubois County Sheriff on the Republican ticket.
Wow, Dubois County Sheriff. Well, we're going to get to the campaign stuff. I know it's very exciting for you and your family as you embark on this endeavor, but let's go back in time. Let's know a little bit more about you, where you started, what got you into law enforcement. So I guess start at the beginning.
Okay. So I'm a 2002 graduate of Jasper High School. I moved to Jasper when I was in 8th grade. I joined the Army National Guard when I was between a junior and a senior in high school, and I had plans right after high school to actually go to college and become a chef and travel the world, learn the different cuisines of the world. But fortunately and unfortunately, in 2003, my unit here in Jasper, one of the 152, was activated in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. So that was January 1st of 2003. We returned back home in February of 2004. Shortly after I came home, I went to Indiana State University, Southern Indiana University, for about a year, and I was blessed to have an opportunity to start with the Hunter Police Department back in April of 2006. From there, I worked about 5 years with the Hunter Police Department, and in 2011, I moved on to the Sheriff's Office, where I served a lot of different roles.
So why now? Why do you say to yourself, I want to run the whole department?
Going through the ranks, through the Sheriff's Office, I've worked as a road officer, as a canine handler, as a ERT member, which is another name for SWAT, recently as a detective sergeant, and now currently as the chief deputy. So I feel like I've risen through the ranks from the first position to the second highest position, and I have a pretty good handle on how our department works and how I want our department to continue to move in the future. This is a great community. We're a jewel in the whole state of Indiana. I think we're the best community that there is, and I want to continue keeping the community as safe as it is.
Let's talk about the Sheriff's Department itself, and it's a two-part question here. Number one, what is something that you think that the Dubois County Sheriff's Department does really well? And the second part is, what is something you think that can be improved on?
We do a lot of things very well. We have some of the best staff, some of the best deputies, some of the best detectives that the state has to offer, and our community, of course. I think one of the best attributes that I can say about our Sheriff's Office is the humbleness of our officers. Mm-hmm. Again, this is not like big cities. This is a small community. And I've told people about class reunions. They bring in like, oh, I can't wait for the 20-year class reunion when you go to other places. Here, all you have to do is go to Walmart and you meet everybody that you went to high school, grades below, grades after. It's like a whole reunion every time you go to Walmart. So I love that small community feel. And that's one of the things that I can say about our Sheriff's Office. I believe our Sheriff's Office is very humble. And I think that portrays into the public as well, as they see that we're very approachable. You can come and talk to us, and at any time, day or night. One of the things I think we need to work on, I would say we probably need to work on community engagement, getting more engaged in the community. One of my plans, if I am blessed with being your next sheriff, is I plan on having quarterly meetings with the public. You hear a lot about coffee and cops. Unfortunately, some of those are done throughout the week, and 99% of the public works during the week. So I hope to meet with the public on a Saturday, once a quarter, and just listen to some of their concerns and have them have a voice in our department as well.
Besides just that, obviously, community trust is very big in law enforcement. It's a big issue, not just here, but all around the country. How do you gain that trust and maintain that trust with the community outside of the coffee and cops and things like that? just in your everyday interaction with the community?
Being very transparent, having an open communication. I think communication is key, and maintaining that communication with the public. Treat everybody like family. At the end of the day, we work for you guys. We work to keep this community safe, and that's one of my goals. That the community feels comfortable in us to come up to us and talk to us. So when I started in Huntingbird almost 20 years ago, I had to build that community trust with the public. A lot of Hispanic community, the community didn't have that trust in law enforcement, and it wasn't because of the officers here. It's because of their culture and back in the countries where they come from. So I had to work very hard to gain that trust from the Hispanic community and other cultures, that officers are here to help you. Officers are here for your betterment and here to protect you. So the best way, I have always said, to build that trust is invest in your community. The way I've invested in my community is through different organizations, through Shop with a Cop, through Shop with a Fireman. I forgot to mention earlier, I've almost have 10 years with the Dubois Fire Department. So building that trust with that community and showing them some of our culture and overall just getting engaged with the community in different aspects of it. That's how you gain that trust with the community.
I think you can get that with law enforcement, especially because when you're not wearing a uniform, you're still very much a part of the community. You're at your kids' soccer games and baseball games and whatever activities they have. We see you at the department store. We see you at the grocery store. We see you at church because you are a member of the community that you serve.
Absolutely. And you brought up sports. I also help coach Little League, and the younger kids, like you said, in uniform, we look one way. When we're in plain clothes, we look different. And I've actually caught little kids kind of snickering to their parents, "That's Officer Monarrez." And their parents will be talking to them and say, "Hi." I can't. So, of course, I'll be like, "Hey, buddy, how are you?" And if I have stickers with me, I'll hand them one sticker with them. But I love that. I love that interaction, that it's almost like they're starstruck whenever they see one of us in plain clothes. Like, yeah, we are your neighbor. We are your friend. We are your coworker and stuff. Like I said, this is a small community where we have that.
There's a lot of pressure on law enforcement as far as mental health crisis. What to do, how law enforcement responds to somebody under mental distress. Under your leadership with the Sheriff's Department, how do you take that head on?
So I'm glad you brought this up. We're actually pioneering and probably the first in the nation. Here a couple of years ago, I actually went to a social worker conference in Bloomington, and I was apprehensive about going to the whole thing. Again, I believe social worker at the time, I'm sorry, not anymore. I believe social worker had their own lanes and we had our own. So I went there very close-minded, but I'm very appreciative I got to go to that conference because it opened my eyes to different horizons. And because of that, we've actually launched one of our officers, Deputy Emily Haas. She is, I believe, the first in the state and possibly the first in the country to be a dual mental case counselor and also a deputy. She's going to take on both roles where we can free up the deputy. If there's a mental crisis, we can send her directly. Officers are trained on mental crisis, but not to her level of expertise. That's her expertise level. And if things continue to grow in that aspect, then possibly getting more officers that have the dual social work and also law enforcement.
How do you see the relationship between should you be elected, your Sheriff's Department and the other local agencies? Well, obviously, here in Jasper, we've got the Indiana State Police Post. You've also got the City of Jasper Police and all the other communities that have their police departments. How do you see that relationship?
I can only see our relationship growing even closer. We have a really great working relationship. We pick on each other like brothers and sisters.
That's going to lead me to my next question, but continue.
Especially with the state police. But no, we're united. I have a great working relationship with Chief Kramer of the Hunter Police Department, newly appointed Chief Rob Randall with the Vernon Police Department, newly appointed Chief of Police for Jasper, Chad Dick, and also the newly appointed, man, there's been a lot of newly appointments, Lieutenant Brock Warney, who's in charge of the post. Brock and I actually been friends since 8th grade. He's been one of my oldest friends that I can remember from locally. So I think having those relationships with those chiefs, we can only grow and get better and train together, do community engagements together. So I only see our law enforcement family here in Dubois County just getting closer and closer.
They're very much so a family, and you see it in the military too, as you and I have both spent time in the military where all the branches work so well together, but they also pick on each other. And that leads me to my question that I have to ask you. All right, a sheriff, a city police officer, and an Indiana State Trooper are locked in a room. Who comes out the winner?
You mean you got state police to show up? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Wait, you get a rim shot for that. We'll add that in later. That was a good one. All right. This is...
Just kidding. Love you guys. Love my trooper buddies.
You're going to hear from Brock.
Oh, I am.
Yes, you are. How important, and this is... How important is the role of the... This is really isn't related to your run as for sheriff, but as far as law enforcement is concerned, and this applies to all the departments, how important is the spouse, the significant other of a law enforcement?
Oh my God, member? They're the anchor that holds everything together. I couldn't do anything without my wife, without her support, and I'm trying not to tear up because she is underappreciated. As law enforcement officers, we get pulled in all directions at all time. I would say that I put my family first, but I'd be lying to myself, especially during inclement weather. Recently, we've been hit a lot with inclement weather over the last couple of years. We've had tornadoes hit our area. And the minute that the weather passes a tornado, I'm out the door. Mm-hmm. I'm already out the door. Honey, you're good. The kids are good. You're in the basement. You're secure. All right, I got to go. Where are you going? I got to check on the community, whether it's clearing roadways or checking the power lines down or houses that have been crushed by trees or wind. We're out in the community. So our spouses, it's hats off to them. They're the real heroes in our life.
I think they know going into it that not that they're not the priority, but they are going to, there's going to be times where you're called to duty, and that's what you do.
Absolutely. And maybe they don't know exactly what they're getting into when we get into this, but I think they learn and they adapt very good, and I'm so thankful for that. Because again, we couldn't be doing what we're doing. They get to see us at our highest, but they also get to see us at our lowest. And also, they're the ones to keep us in check. When we get home, hey, you're not Chief Deputy Monarrez, you're my husband.
You are no longer the boss.
Absolutely not. And even my kids she's like, Dad, who's the boss? I'm like, do you really have to know? Yeah, we know Mom is the boss. We just wanted for you to tell us. Again, same thing. My wife has been really supportive with being a bilingual officer, getting calls throughout the night, being a detective, getting called out to this, being an NRT member, getting called out to that, being a canine handler, leaving birthday parties or whatever. She's very supportive. But again, the one thing she says I can't do anymore is join another organization. She said last time I was going to join another organization, she said, you need to join the Help with Laundry organization, the Clean the House organization.
I'm in that organization. I don't recommend it.
It doesn't pay well.
No, it doesn't pay at all. It's understated what the spouses of law enforcement officers deal with, because to be honest, you typically deal with people on the worst day of their life, and it is such a taxing thing. So hats off to you and to everybody else that wears a uniform, but especially the spouses who, whether they signed up for it or thought they signed up for it or not, they've got to be that when you get home, to whether it's either just sit and listen or set you straight or whatever it may be. They do an amazing job.
Absolutely.
I think you got lucky.
I did. I got very, very lucky. I definitely married up.
Same. What does your experience in the military, how do you think that translates to not only being in the sheriff's department, but potentially sheriff? How does that help you?
Absolutely. It helps a lot. So one of the incidents I can relate back is when we went into this community. I think we named the camp Scania at the time. We were the only fueling point between Baghdad and Kuwait. Just north of Kuwait, there was an air base there, but we were essentially the only fueling point. We provided security for that point and everything else. But the community, imagine your country being invaded. You're not going to like whoever invades your community, your farmland, your country, and everything. So I actually built a relationship with the local families there, to the point that they wouldn't have meetings with our higher ups without me being there. And that was something that I didn't acknowledge then, but looking back at it several years ago, is if I can make friends of the enemy, I can make friends with anybody. If we can learn together with two different countries to become one for the same, for the same goal, which was their freedom, is we can do anything. And I actually have photos and some videos of the kids, the dads chanting my name. And like I said, at the time, I didn't think anything of it. We actually set up an Iraqi market right on our base where the folk could come up and sell Coca-Colas, blocks of ice. Funny, the Coca-Colas were actually the old style cans that you still peel back and everything. Clothing, knickknacks, and all kinds of stuff. So that was a way of helping them get some money and put money back in their pocket. So that's one of the things that really drove me to also law enforcement. Again, being a protector of those people, being a protector of my friends, my partners, and my country, is just because I like that community building, and I think that will definitely translate, or it has translated into the job that I do now. You
mentioned the two cultures. The fact that you are bilingual, I'm sure, plays a very important role and is a big asset, especially if, should you be elected sheriff, to the Hispanic community here in Dubois County is ever growing, and getting them more involved in taking those two cultures and making a community strong with them. How important is that?
Absolutely. That's important. Look at the Latino Fest. Look at Strawson Fest. It is very important. And that's why I say Dubois County is so unique. You have so many different cultures. Before I moved to Dubois County, I didn't know what German fries were. I thought they was fries or something. And now I just love German fries. I've never had a pupusa from El Salvador. And it's like a pancake with meat on it. It's like one of the most delicious things I've ever made. And it's just, it is very important to bring the cultures and learn from each other. I have friends in the fire department that never been to a quinceañera, and actually showed them some of our culture and everything. And I think that's how you get to know each other, sharing cultures. And again, I know I always talk about food, but I think that's the culture's eyes in introducing different cultures, is the food.
What does day one look like as Jesus Monarrez takes over as sheriff, should you be elected? What's day one?
Catching my breath.
Good answer.
Catching my breath, looking at all the leadership roles that are on there, and possibly appointing some new ones. One of the things that I took from our president is that I don't have to be the smartest person in that room, but I will surround myself with the smartest people. And I think if you entrust your leaders below you, things will take care of themselves.
They always say that if you're in a room and you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Correct. I very much agree with that.
What does the department itself, what are some things that you would really like to implement? Now, obviously, there's processes and different things that have to go on, whether they be with the county commissioners and whatnot, as far as budget concerns and things like that. But what are some things that you would like to see implemented if you had the opportunity?
Some things I would like to see implement. Definitely, we're going to have work on relationships with the council and commissioners. try to be on the same note. We're not always going to agree, but it's okay to agree to disagree. But I want to further that relationship with our county and council. I also want to expand our school resource officers. Our schools are not here in town, like Jasper. Jasper has the Jasper Police Department right here that can be there within seconds. Unfortunately, our other schools, Northeast Dubois, Southeast School District, Forest Park, they're more rural, and it takes longer for us to get there. So I definitely would want to implement more school resource officers to those schools to balance it a little bit. I definitely want to do a lot more community engagement things. Okay. Again, host a police day. I know we did that with the Jasper Police Department, the Jasper Fire Department, Hunter Police Department, where we have a law enforcement day, and I want to expand on that. I want to have that a little bit more than once a year. I want to take care of our employees. I want to see what their needs are, and I will try to do everything in my power to appease some of that. I can't guarantee that if an employee comes to me, I want to make $100,000 a year. I can't promise that. I don't think it would be realistic.
If you can, I'll be there. I'll be next in line.
But I want to build an environment that's like family. Over the last 6.5 years, almost 7 years, we've done so much with our department, with technology, in our county. I know if you look around, a lot of people ask, what are those cameras coming into the county? And that's one of the biggest things that the sheriff and I brought from one of the conferences. It's called Flock. So every time a vehicle comes into our county, it'll run that plate, and it won't tell me, hey, Ty Hunter just came in, but it will tell me if, hey, this vehicle is reported stolen. The person driving this vehicle is wanted on a warrant. The person driving this vehicle has been entered into our Amber Alert, and it keeps a lot of bad things coming into Dubois County.
And stopping it right there.
Absolutely.
As they come in. Especially, you mentioned Amber Alert, one of the most important things that you do. And actually here in the broadcasting side of things, an Amber Alert pretty well stops everything here when it's for the local area. Things like that, if we have the ability to stop them before they get into the county, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Absolutely. We've stopped murder suspects. We've stopped prison escapees. We've stopped people with drugs coming in with warrants. We've had a couple of silver alert as well. Older gentlemen, older women that, of course, unfortunately suffer from Alzheimer's. It'll let us know if they've been entered there, and we've been able to return them or make the move where we can call a family member and meet us down here in Dubois County and get them safely back home, or take them to the hospital for medical needs.
As an outsider to law enforcement and someone who's worked in media for quite some time, about the same amount that you've been in law enforcement, one thing I've seen, and this is a good thing, one thing I've seen, and not just the sheriff's department, but the city police and state police, I have seen a more bringing the drug issues to the forefront, where it seemed like in the past, and this is years ago, where things were kind of swept under the rug here. And no, we don't have a drug problem, but I have seen law enforcement in the past couple of years being very open and honest that we have a problem, and we need everybody's help to curb this before it gets worse, because obviously we've seen the after effects of what drugs can do. Absolutely.
And I'm glad you brought that up. So in the last couple of years, we've actually developed a narcotics unit that's solely what their job is, to go after drug dealers, to do undercover buys, to hit that problem before it grows into a problem that we can't control. So if we can keep the beast at bay, I think we can keep it under control. Everywhere you go, everybody's vulnerable to it. Drugs are going to make their way everywhere. Mm-hmm. If they make their way into a prison that's highly guarded, I'm sure they can make it into our community. So of course we have to set plans in motion to try and minimize that. And I think we've done a good job of it, and we will continue to do a good job of it.
This is a completely biased question, but I do work in media. How does the Monarrez-led sheriff department work with media?
So I always said you need to have the media with you, because that's the fastest, easiest way to project information to the community. So you're right, absolutely, 100% transparency. I've had a great working relationship with the media over the last 20 years. Of course, back when we had the Herald, who doesn't like to see their picture in the Herald? And even
depends on what page of the Herald. Depends on what page.
Front page. You don't want to be on the third page. I think that was the.
I think it was the third page. Yes.
But no, I think our media is very important to keep the public informed and let them know what's going on. I've done multiple interviews with high-profile incidents, and of course, again, it keeps the community informed of what's going on, because you'll see 3 or 4 police cars running this way and then this way as well. What's going on? And if we have time at the time, we'll put something towards the media. It's like, hey, this is what's going on. If the situation doesn't permit and everything, then we just can't put anything out. But after the incident, I'd be more than happy to sit down with whoever of the media and explain to them what happened. Because again, it helps to know what's going on in your community. And like I said, it's very important to me to keep an open communication with the media.
All right, Jesus, it's time for the real questions.
Okay.
Favorite color, go.
Blue.
All right. Favorite food?
All of it. Not at the same time. There's actually, that's actually, my wife makes fun of me, but there's a couple of things that I don't like: peanut butter, mustard, and spaghetti.
What?
Exactly. That's exactly what she says.
Peanut butter, mustard, and spaghetti?
Yeah. I'll eat anything else.
I am trying really hard not to judge you right now. That is the weirdest thing I have ever heard.
It happens.
Peanut butter?
Peanut butter.
Okay. All right. Would you, I'm sorry, I got this one from the internet. Would you rather fight 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
I'm a lover, not a fighter.
Okay, well, didn't see that one coming either. Before we go here, why do you think you're uniquely qualified to be the sheriff for Dubois County?
I love this community. This community raised me. I'm originally from El Paso, Texas. That's a border town. I grew up around gangs, poverty, everything. Actually, at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, about 50% of the videos were produced back in my hometown in El Paso, and I don't want that for our community. I want to shield my community. I want to shield my kids, my neighbors, my friends from all that. So, like I said, this community raised me and showed me the love of what it is to love the outdoors, to hunting, having horses, riding horses, everything that this paradise that we call Dubois County has to offer, and I want to maintain that. And I'm willing to give up my life for my community and my county, and I don't know how else to show that I care for our community, but by leading our law enforcement and keeping us safe for as long as we can.
Any final thoughts, any final words, any final jabs at the Indiana State Police?
Nope, I'm sure I'll be hearing from them, but love you guys.
Jesus, best of luck in your campaign. Appreciate you sitting down and talking with us and using this to make your announcement, first of all. I really do appreciate that, and best of luck to you.
Thank you for having me again. And anytime you have some dead air that you want to fill in with me, just call me. I'm just up the road.
Hopefully, I would rather you come here. I don't want to be there.
Sounds like a deal.
Jesus Monarrez for Dubois County Sheriff. This has been a very special In.form. I'm Ty Hunter. Have a great day.
This has been In.form on WBDC and 18 WJTS. Catch past episodes on our social media pages and our websites. If it matters to you, it matters to us. In.form.
The preceding special presentation of In.form on WBDC and WJTS was paid for by Friends of Jesus Monarrez. Jesus Monarrez, Treasurer.